you can see, it's a little bit too much cracks for our type of the building, so I'm just going with the erase tool, just going to remove some of those. I'm just going to fade out some of the ones, so I'm not going to totally remove them. So I'm just going to test the texture again, save it and replace the texture, and go inside of Maya again and reload the texture. Now you can see the cracks, and we can try and render it, see how it looks. Definitely much better. Probably we can improve it. So just taking the erase tool again, just removing some of the dirt that's on the bottom of the texture that we've just brought. I'm just going to again try it out. Also, before that, we can just make the bump map, the updated bump map. So I'm just going to copy the new texture inside of the bump map group. I'm just going to desaturate it and save the new bump map. As you can see, the texture is dark enough to make these cracks visible when we render the scene. So I can go to Maya again, reload the main texture and reload the bump map. So now I can go and render and see how it looks. I'm just rendering the corner so it's faster. There is difference with the bump map, and I don't know if it's visible in the video, but there is definitely an improvement. So the next thing we're going to do is the middle ground building at the back of the scene. So the same process with the same texture as before. I'm just going to copy the extract texture. Also, I'm copying probably the mask, yeah. So I'm just going to copy the texture. And remember to copy it merge, so that's Ctrl Shift and C, or going to edit and copy merge. So now we can orient the texture as we want it and start modifying it. This time I'm going to put the texture from the roof facing downwards across the wall. And I'm just going to erase some of the edges, some of the cracks, fade them out. Again with the erase tool. And probably we don't need a bump map for this one because the texture is too far away as it is, so we won't have a problem. So we're going to get out without a bump map. So just reload it, save the texture and reload it inside of Maya so we can test it. Yeah, definitely looks much better than the plain plaster one. So that's all the texturing done. Next step is to refine the models. By that I mean just to create some distortion on the edges of the building, on the foreground left building, because this will be the most visible place. Then going to the middle ground and background buildings, it won't be that much visible. So I'm just going to create on this corner of the building. So I'm just selecting the edge loop tool, and I'm going to add 2 edges both sides of the corner, so that's 4 edges. And if you can see, the edge loop won't work on this side nicely. That's because the beveled window that we've created in the last part. So to fix that, we're going to the edit mesh, select the split polygon tool, and that way we can manually finish the rest of the loop. Just selecting the starting point and then the end point and hitting enter, and doing the same thing again to create the 4th loop, or the second one on this corner. So the next step is, again with the edge loop tool, is to create the boundaries of our crack. So I'm just going to create 2 loops where the crack will be going to start and where it's going to end. So these 2 loops will be the end, and those on the top will be the start. I'm just going to delete the first one that I've created. And I'm going to create the intermediate loops that are going to help us create some dimension to the crack, to add some dimension to the crack. So I'm just looking how it looks without the edge, if I need to rebuild the edge or just modify the previous one that was before that. So I'm just going to leave the previous one. I'm just going to start modifying it with it. So I'm just taking the intermediate vertices that are right on the corner and just moving them backwards as much as it needs, just to create some variation in the crack. As you can see, now it's looking pretty nice. Just going to pull this one up so the even more variation. And when that's done, we can continue creating the second crack. That's going to be down there. Again, selecting the edge loop tool, and to view the texture we're going to place crack, is better to turn on the texturing inside the viewport. So now we can add the loops where exactly we want. So the bottom will be here, and the top of the crack will be around there.